Hey everybody, this is the module internalization guiding video for week 4, which is modules 9, 10, and 11, like you see here. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into like what my planning looks like on a weekly basis, and hopefully that helps on your end to sort of internalize and then deliver these lessons to others. So day 9, we are still working on most of the class or part of the class. Students are still working on their project, and then that is the last time they will be getting time to work in class, and then we're moving on in day 10 to introducing natural disaster vocab. That's what we'll start Unit 7 with, and then of course Unit 7 has to do with like the news and things like that as well, so we'll move into that a little bit later. But this is just a lot of different ways. They'll be practicing on Quizlet, doing some pairing, reading, finding some keywords, so a lot of different tasks that sort of attack the familiarity with vocab. And then day 11, module 11, which is May 1st, next Friday, is going to be more vocab and then integrating some review of weather expressions, which we went over in Unit 3 in Spanish 2, as well as in some unit in Spanish 1. But keep in mind that they are probably a little overwhelmed with that, so we're looping that back in and sort of integrating it with natural disaster vocab. Okay, so this is like the broad overview of the week. All of these boxes down here are mostly for me, if I've created a video, a mastery check, a class packet, all of that stuff, and then the teacher guide for you guys. This I just recently added because I've found myself forgetting to do it a lot. But when in the PowerPoint or in the plans for the day, it directs students to Google Classroom or to Teams to have like a conversation or respond to a question. Unfortunately, I don't know a ton about the functionality of Teams there, but in Google Classroom, that will require you to submit another or create another assignment or another question, and then you pose the question and students can respond themselves and then respond to each other's responses. So this is mainly for me, but you all will need to keep that in mind as well. I don't believe that this week there's anything there to worry about in posting. Here is the network drive. You can see I've numbered them modules 9, 10, and 11. Everything you need will be in there. This module 9, this recording, I definitely want us to troubleshoot and check that it is working because I was having some problems when I uploaded it to my own Google Drive saying like it was an invalid file. So I can always try submitting again or, posting it in a different way that's a little less difficult. So today, module 9, or this day, April 28th, is mostly listening practice. It's another like food, favorite recipe sort of thing, answering questions, and then working on the project. Module 10 is moving on, like I said, to vocab. There is an answer key here. I know that week 1 I was not clear at all because I wasn't clear as to how I was going to post it about the answer key. My sort of system that I've gone through is I post the answer keys to appear automatically the next class that students, or the next module that students will be in. So for, this module 10, it would be April 28th. That's a Wednesday. I am going to schedule this to appear automatically on May 1st, which would be their last module of the week, module 11. So that is up to your discretion as teachers. If you want it available immediately, that's fine. If you want it available at 5 p.m. the day of that module, that's fine. But, just a guide to let you know what I do. I think everything is pretty straightforward here. Other than that, there aren't any, Google Classroom opportunities in this module. In module 11, there is a little bit more going on here. There are 2 answer keys. Once again, post those however you see fit. I think I put 2 copies of this class packet here. I would guess go with the one that's more loaded and well developed. This module is again focusing on vocabulary, but looping back in the basic weather vocabulary. That's what this is for, looping back in basic weather vocabulary with the natural disaster stuff. There is some writing practice in here. My plan was that our sort of more in-depth formative grade with more in-depth feedback would be for today, their writing practice where they have to create a weather forecast that doesn't have to be necessarily realistic or truthful. I told them to be as creative as they want to be there, but that seemed like a good opportunity for us to evaluate the use of vocabulary and give some more in-depth feedback on writing. Okay, let me just check my own checklist here and make sure I'm going through everything since I'm not able to be live with you guys on this Friday. We've gone over the scope of the week. I would ask, I'm going to make sure that this video is available to you on Thursday, and I know that we don't, at least don't teach Spanish on Thursdays. So I would love any questions or concerns about how do I post this, if there's an error that you see in materials, things like that. That really needs to meet with me by the end of the day, Thursday, April 23rd, because I will not be here on Friday. I will not be working at all, using one of my days off with seriousness. So keep that in mind. And then the same sort of thing as we discussed last week, like focusing on this internalization piece. Hold on, I'm going to show it on my screen in just a second here. And, this is work to make sure you guys are, doing your absolute best and being as effective as you can be with someone else's plans, which I recognize is can be a real challenge. So these questions we are going through on our own and then copying our coach on them. So thinking about what makes each lesson rigorous or complex, if there's any additional scaffolding or differentiation needed for your students, what vocab supports are there? Are there things that need to be added? How do students move through the packet? Is it simple? Is it clear what they are being asked to do, how they're being asked to move through things? What are potential misconceptions and how can you as a teacher address those? How can you anticipate and address them? I would also say anticipating, making sure that you are taking the mastery checks yourself and anticipating problems there. Again, like we talked about last week, taking and really going through this as a student ahead of time will just put you leagues ahead in terms of being able to answer questions for your students. What opportunities for extension and challenge are there? And then how can you personalize a lesson and make it your own so that it's not just some like canned curriculum that's coming from somewhere that nobody really knows. So these are the things to be thinking about to really internalize. Again, I know it's new. I know it's strange. And for those of you that have been planning on your own for a long time and have years and years of teaching experience, I can definitely relate to some of the like frustration and confusion and misunderstandings there. But thank you all in advance for your focus and your work on internalizing this stuff and for your grace with the mistakes and challenges that I've made and had. So again, please reach out with questions or concerns by the end of Thursday, as I will not be here to answer them on Friday. Okay. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you next